All right, Dan, it's 5 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce you and we'll get started because I'm anxious to visit Italy tonight since we haven't been able to go there for quite some time. It's one of my favorite destinations. But first of all, I want to welcome everybody for joining us this evening. I think since we're not able to travel to a lot of different places, we can keep dreaming about the places that are out there waiting for us. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lisa Torgerson, and I am the Director of Leisure Travel Services for Travelex International. And I have tonight with me Dan, and I'm going to demolish your last name. Is it Peelier?
Very close. Peeler, like peeling a potato, peeling a banana, very German. But that was a good effort though. That was great.
And he is our partner with Uniworld. And before we let him jump into the presentation, at the bottom of your screen, you'll either see a Q&A box or you'll see a chat box. Please feel free to ask any questions during the presentation. We'll get to them at the end. We'll make sure that we answer everyone's question. We can try to answer them throughout too, Dan, if you want, but I want to definitely spend a lot of time in Italy, so I think we'll save them for the end. So go ahead, Dan, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, that sounds great. Okay, my wife is a teacher and she's doing parent-teacher conferences in the office next to me. So let me just get my video stopped here to make sure the connection's good. And then Lisa, can you see my screen okay? Is everything looking good there? Oh.
Yes, it is.
Perfect. Okay, fantastic. Well, hey, thank you all so much for being on the call tonight. I hope you all are doing well and staying safe during this, I guess we could say, interesting period of time. I know it's been an interesting day or two here with everything going on with the election and whatnot, but appreciate everyone being on the call tonight. Like I just said, personally, my wife and I are working from home and she's teaching second grade virtually this year. So between that, taking care of the family, it's been a pretty crazy time. So my heart goes out to you all. However, with that being said, I'm extremely excited for what the future holds in regards to traveling again. We are really confident that once we get that green light to travel again, we'll be ready. We'll be ready to go. And I know we're all so excited to get out of the house and travel once again. So today, I'm very, very excited to be here to talk about one of the most amazing places you can travel to in the world, which is Italy, and more specifically, how Uniworld makes traveling through Italy one of the most amazing travel experiences you can have. So tonight, I'm sure Lisa would agree with this. Our goal here is for you to sit back, relax, and enjoy this amazing presentation about everything that Italy has to offer. And hopefully you will learn a little bit and really be inspired by some of the amazing places you'll learn about. So when that time does come to travel again, you'll know exactly where you want to go. There we go. And as Lisa mentioned, just so you know who I am, my name is Dan Peeler, and I run operations here through Uniworld throughout the Midwest. I currently reside in the actually warm and beautiful Madison, Wisconsin area. Currently, it's about 60 degrees outside, and a week ago it was snowing. So if that doesn't encompass our Midwest weather, I'm not really sure what it really does. But, one of the reasons I was so excited when Lisa asked me to do this tonight and beyond is because Italy, it really is one of my absolute favorite countries I've ever visited. You can see on the screen there, my favorite trip, I would say, is Northern Italy. My next one I'm hoping to go soon, if not Italy, is Iceland. But Italy is such a beautiful country, and I'm really happy to be here today to kind of share a little bit about my experience, but also really hopefully give you an in-depth look at what Italy, specifically Northern Italy, has to offer. So as I mentioned, what I'll cover really today is three things. Number one, we'll go over really who Uniworld is and what makes Uniworld so special, why it's such a great option for your next vacation. Then we'll discuss some of the things you'll experience when you're actually on the ship, just so you have an idea of what you'll experience when you're going through Italy on our journey tonight. Maybe some of you have been on a Uniworld cruise before, so this will be a great refresher. But if you haven't, this should show a little bit about what life is like day to day on the ship. And then lastly, we'll get into the exciting part and go on a virtual journey through Italy. And we'll actually be doing that by going on one of our most popular itineraries that Uniworld has to offer, and by going through the day-to-day and seeing some of the amazing experiences we have. So that's really what we'll go over today. So Now let's look into what Uniworld is and really what makes Uniworld so special. And again, before we dive into Italy, I want to just quickly over what makes Uniworld unique, what makes Uniworld stand out from other offerings out there, and why it's a great choice for your next all-inclusive, authentic river cruising experience. So really what Uniworld is in short is Uniworld is a luxury river cruise line really specializing in giving you, our guests, an authentic, immersive, all-inclusive river cruising experience. That's really what we are in a nutshell. And last year, 2019, which seems like such a long time ago, we were actually fortunate to be named the #1 river cruise line by Travel and Leisure, which was a great honor. But what helped us achieve that is by offering really intimate boutique river voyages throughout Europe, South America, and Egypt, and offering luxury cruises, great service, unmatched experiences, and ultra personalized service. That's really what helped us get that honor. So essentially, really what Uniworld is, it's a floating boutique hotel with great service and amenities. Some of those key differentiators are, of course, the level of service, which is really seen with our 2.3-to-1 guest to crew ratio. Our ships have fewer staterooms. We manage our own hospitality, culinary, and nautical operations, which really helps us ensure that every part of the onboard experience for you meets the high standards that we have in place. So all in all, guests really turn to Uniworld when they're looking for that luxury river cruising experiences with great service, authentic experience, and a once-in-a-lifetime vacation. So at the end of the day, our main goal is really to give you the most unique, unforgettable experience that you seek with personalized industry-leading service that you deserve. That's really our goal. So let's dive a little deeper into what makes Uniworld so special. And at Uniworld, we like to say there are 5 things that make Uniworld special and an amazing option for your next dream travel experience. And as you can see on the screen here, it's really the most all-inclusive amenities, choice of carefully curated experiences, delicious farm-to-table cuisine. That's one of my personal favorites. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Outstanding service and one-of-a-kind award-winning ships. And we'll discuss this really briefly before we go into Italy, just to kind of an idea of what you can experience on board when we're cruising the Po River, when we're cruising the Venice Lagoon, just so you have an idea of some of the things you can do. So first, Uniworld is most all-inclusive river cruising experience on the water. And basically, when you're on board, you won't be paying anything for out-of-pocket. That means the experiences, the amenities, and of course the drinks, all those are included on board. The only thing you'll ever pay outside the upfront price is really a top shelf, top of the line drink, maybe items from the gift shop, an additional experience that we offer that's maybe not included, things like that. But for the most part, what you see in the upfront price is what you get. It's the most all-inclusive river cruise line out there. I won't read this next slide word for word because I'd probably go cross-eyed, but you can just see a couple more things that we have. All the gratuities are included, both that are on board and on shore. Airport transfers, those are included. The 24-hour room, concierge services for every category are available. Butler service in every suite. All of that is included. And of course, shipboard Wi-Fi, when we do excursions offshore, bicycles, helmets, things like that. All that's there. We provide all that. You don't have to worry about that at all. Look at this screen, drinks. Doesn't this one look great? Of course, like I mentioned, drinks indeed on board are provided. Really whatever you want made, our bartenders will be able to provide. So because of the great attention to the detail that they have, when you order a drink, maybe say for the first time, it's the first night on the ship, the bartender will actually write down what you ordered last, so they know your preferences for the rest of the trip. And again, most drinks are available. The only thing you'd have to pay out of pocket for would really be, I guess, top of the line drinks. Maybe an example would be like a Johnny Walker Blue, Johnny Walker Black, something around those lines. So we're talking top of the line. But most of everything else, high quality wines, things like that, that'll all be included. Next, it's all about our award-winning ships. And I'll get into this a little bit more when we talk about the ship we'll be traveling tonight on through Italy. But in short, all of our ships essentially are floating boutique hotels. That's kind of the name of the game. Every ship is different. Every ship is designed to mimic the area that we're traveling in. So really when we're going through Italy, you'll see some of the ship's unique artwork and really how it reflects the area that we're traveling in. Ultimately, the goal here is that these are not floating Marriotts. Every single ship is different. Every single ship is unique in its own beautiful way. That's our goal. We want every little thing to be different and really kind of encompass the destination that we're sailing in. Additionally, we talked about the service, the outstanding service at Uniworld. We have the credo that no request is too large, no detail is too small. And one goal is to give you the unique and unforgettable experiences you seek with personalized industry-leading service we deserve. We talked about that 1 to 2.3 staff to guest ratio. That's amazing. But with one of those best guest ratios on the river, each guest really receives the crew's full attention and unmatched attention to detail. It's fantastic. And additionally, on top of that, our butlers that are on board are trained to some of the standards of excellence as required by Buckingham Palace. So each assumes the role of a butler 100% of the time. They don't moonlight in any other roles, and that really enables him or her to focus fully on making your cruise one to never forget. They really are fantastic. They're top of the line. Next, delicious farm to table cuisine. This is one of my favorites. I love food. You love food. It's 5 o'clock. It's almost dinner time right now. I probably should have ate before we had this tonight, but now this is making me a little bit more hungry. But food is a big part of everything we do at Uniworld. We really feel there's no better way to immerse yourself in a destination than trying the local delicacy, than trying the local cuisine. And Uniworld does a really good job of taking you into that destination and having you try local cuisine that is farm fresh during your experience. This could be maybe an experience outside where we're eating in the locations that we're traveling to, or even on the ship. We like to source in the local ingredients, and that way we have some farm fresh meals on board for you at all times that are all local to the area that we're traveling in. It's fantastic. And then lastly, the choice of carefully curated experience. So Uniworld has many great all-inclusive shore excursions for every traveler type, along with private experiences for Uniworld guests. When we cruise through Italy, these experiences really make a destination come alive. And we really want to provide those authentic experiences. And again, when we're going through Italy, you can stay on the ship as long as you want, that's fine. But these excursions, these experiences really make you dive into the culture, into the locations that we're traveling to, and give you those authentic experiences. So one thing that I absolutely love about Uniworld is the excursions they offer. Really, nothing is cookie cutter and everything is unique to Uniworld. We believe the same should be for our excursions. So the great thing about these is that we have different options every day. So guests have the choice to do really whatever they would like, and there's a lot of variety. So what we do is every day we offer usually around 2 to 3 types of experiences, which are called Let's Go, Do As Locals Do, and Village Day. Those are kind of how we categorize them. So really briefly, Let's Go is a little more active for those guests who like to move around, live a little bit of an active lifestyle, and include anything from a bike ride, a hike, or even some cases golfing, which would be one of my personal favorites. Another one would be Do As Locals Do. This is an excursion type, which the main goal is to give you an authentic look into each destination. This one is a great one, as it gives you a really authentic experience. And for this, a lot of times we'll partner with some third parties like Eat With, which helps our guests get a taste of really the city and to share a meal in the home of one of our local hosts, which is a really, really great, authentic experience. Another one, the last one we have is called Village Day. This is really a trip through the town with our local expert who will kind of show you all the highlights of a town or the city. This is a very common one. We have this all the time. And these experiences are great if you have people that want a nice mix of enjoying all the amenities offered on the ship, while also getting a chance to explore the beautiful destinations that we pass through. Typically with these, again, we offer a lot of these every day. Most people like to go on them. Maybe someone will take a day off just because they want to relax on the ship. That's fine. But these excursions are fantastic. It's a way to really immerse yourself in that destination. Lastly, before we get into Italy, I would be remiss if we kind of really didn't address the elephant in the room. And I just want to talk a little bit about the safety precautions that we're doing at Uniworld. So again, once we get that green light to travel, we'll be ready. And I think Uniworld's doing a really great job with all their precautions and protocols going forward. But we know for a fact that we do have pent-up demand for travel. With that being said, the biggest barrier to traveling will be making sure people feel safe. So Uniworld's done a really great job with this, enacting a lot of protocols. I won't read this list line for line. We have so many different things that we're doing, but for the sake of time, just to go over a couple ones that we are having. One thing that Uniworld is doing is they're partnering up with Premium Purity, and Uniworld is the first cruise company to adopt that Premium Purity solution, which is known for its ability to render surfaces self-defecting and purifying the air. So all Uniworld-owned ships will be sprayed with this antimicrobial coating that's odorless, non-toxic, and most importantly, kills bacteria, viruses, including the ones in the coronavirus family. So all our ships will have this. This is the big one. We want our guests to be as safe as possible. Your well-being is our priority, and that's a great way to accomplish that. A couple other ones that we're having to do too. All our crew will undergo regular health screenings and temperature checks. If God forbid something comes up, if symptoms are present, they'll be quarantined immediately. All guests will complete a well-being travel declaration prior to embarkation, and will have their temperature taken throughout the cruise using touchless technology. We also have regulations such as housekeeping staff will disinfect all public services, touch points throughout the day. We'll do contactless payments. And of course, all the staterooms are thoroughly cleaned on a daily basis. Now, I will say with all this, if you want more information, definitely talk to your Travelex advisor. They'll be able to help you out with that. But we also have all this information on our website. But I will say all these protocols will continue to evolve, especially as we continue to get closer and closer to that traveling point again. And rest assured, no matter what those safe precautions are, whatever the countries have in mind, we will comply by the standards that are set forth by those countries to be as safe as possible. So that's a little bit what we're doing. So that's a little bit about who Uniworld is and really what makes Uniworld special. So hopefully that kind of paints a little bit of a picture of what you'll experience on board, what you can experience on board as we go through our journey in Italy. So with that being said, for the main event, let's take a journey through Italy. And the journey we'll be going on today is actually, I love this one. It's one of our most popular itineraries that we have to offer, which is Milan, Venice, and the gems of northern Italy. And I will say, Italy by far is one of my most favorite places that I've ever traveled to. It's absolutely beautiful. It has so much history, and it's a place that is so special and unique in a variety of different ways. And I think that this particular journey really shows in depth what makes Italy so special. And again, this is just northern Italy. Italy has so much to offer, whether it's Rome, Florence. There's so many great cities. It's a pretty big country. There's so much to see. But we'll really hone in today on the northern Italy part, which is a wonderful, wonderful area. Before we kind of get into what we'll be experiencing, I always like to start these with a few fun facts. So a couple fun facts about Italy. The Vatican City in Rome, many of you might know this, but it's actually the smallest country in the world. It's actually known as a country, believe it or not. The Sistine Chapel, one of Italy's most iconic places that you can go to, welcomes over 20,000 visitors per day. That's about over 7 million per year. Of course, that is pre-pandemic. Again, once it's done, I'm sure it'll be like that again. And then this one's really interesting. Italy actually has the oldest population in Europe, 46.3. That's the median age. And if I'm correct, that's second only to Japan worldwide. So Italy is actually the second oldest country in the world, and then the first oldest in Europe. So just a couple fun facts there before we dive in. Why travel to Italy? At least I could probably go on for about 30 minutes on this slide, but for the sake of time, I will not do that. But many of you have probably been to Italy. But if you haven't, so if you've been to Italy, you know exactly what it's all about. But there's so many places that you can go. There's so much that Italy has to offer. And if you haven't gone to Italy, that's great because it's such a wonderful, wonderful destination to go to. It should be at the top of everyone's bucket list. And I can't say enough about it. It's a beautiful country. There's so much that it has to offer. There's so much history between the art, the culture, all the UNESCO World Heritage Sites, the famous cities, like I said, Rome, Florence, Venice, Milan, wherever you want to go. There's so much that Italy has to offer. Every city is unique in its own certain way. And then, of course, you have to talk about the food. You have to talk about the culinary experiences. Italy, we like to say within our leagues here at Uniworld, we call it a foodie paradise. Italy, year after year, is our top selling destination in Uniworld, and we don't see that changing anytime soon. One of the main reasons people go to it is because of the food, the amazing food that they have to offer between the pesto, the olive oil, and of course the wine. Everything is so fresh there, and it's so great. And for me, I'm not a huge pesto person, but when I was in Italy, I had more pesto than I think I ever had in my life, and I felt great. I didn't feel too full. It's just so fresh. It's so fantastic. And along with that too, of course, we have to talk about the wine. I'm not much of a wine person myself, but when I was in Italy, I had so much great wine and felt great the whole time. The wine's very fresh. They use the great ingredients there. It's very different in Italy in terms of their wine production. So those are just a handful of reasons. Again, amazing country. If you've been there, I'm sure you want to go back. And if you haven't been there yet, no worries at all. It's a great, great destination. We definitely highly recommend it at some point here in the future when we can travel again. So Milan, Venice, and the gems of northern Italy. All right, so here's our journey today. And this is a nice little visual. This kind of shows exactly where we're going to go. And, whether you like food, wine, art, architecture, and of course, romance, because we're going to be going through Verona, this itinerary has it all. And really, this is a 10-day itinerary in which you'll actually fly into Milan and actually have 2 nights of touring the iconic city. And then we'll discuss kind of what we'll do there as we go through the day-to-day. But on the 3rd day, that is when we'll embark on the beautiful super ship of the SS La Venezia for 7 nights of cruising the Po River and also the Venetian Lagoon. So you can see on the left, all the inclusions, or sorry, on the right, all the inclusions in dining. Because the print's so small, again, I won't read all that off the screen, but in short, we'll be seeing 4 different UNESCO World Heritage sites, along with having 16 included experiences and 22 meals included. So, but you can see here, of course, we'll start in Milan and then in Venice, and then we'll embark and cruise through the Po River, beginning southbound and heading to Chioggia, Ferrara, Bologna, and then, of course, heading back to Portoviejo, Burano, and Torcello. So you're going to get really the full view of some of Italy's most iconic cities while enjoying the views of the Po River from our beautiful ship. So that's kind of a little bit of an overview of where we'll be going on this. And again, this is a 10-day journey. So let's dive right into it. Day number 1. Here, we're actually going to arrive in Milan Malpensa Airport. If your cruise tour package includes a group arrival transfer, or if you have purchased a private arrival transfer, you will be greeted by a Uniworld representative and then transferred to the Rosa Grande Hotel. Really this day, it's all about getting settled in and really kind of getting everything, getting your bearings to kind of relax a little bit. Most likely, you're recovering from a long flight. Maybe from Chicago, Newark, etc. So wherever you're flying from, this is your day to kind of take it all in, get settled in for an amazing journey the next few days. So this evening, we won't have any plans, but you will have the choice and free time to explore Milan. Many people choose to do that, of course. And one of the great things about this is we are staying at the Rosa Grande Hotel, which is a wonderful hotel. Again, we're going to make sure that we're staying in the nicest places possible. But this hotel is centrally located and right in the city center. So you'll be here in the heart of the action, really to explore everything you want to explore. So it's a really, really great location. Again, most likely you might be a little bit tired that day, that evening, but being in the centrally located part of the Circle City that is Milan, you will have options to go see some different dining restaurants, some shops, things like that. So that evening will be yours as we get settled in. Day 2, this is where we really get going and you get to see Milan. So as I mentioned, your hotel is in the heart of the city, so it's easy to see the highlights of the neighborhood, on a short guided walk. But today we will be going on a city tour of Milan. And the first place we'll visit is El Duomo, which is the great, magnificent cathedral, which was born in the 14th century. Actually finished about 500 years later, and the last part to be finished was one of the 5 great doors, which wasn't installed until 1965, and actually offers one of the most spectacular Gothic facades in the world. A lot of times, if you're Googling or you're just thinking about or you're seeing pictures of Milan, this cathedral on your right is one of the first things that will pop up. It's an iconic cathedral. When you think of Milan, this is what you think of, and it's an amazing, amazing, beautiful spot. It's absolutely gorgeous. So here, we're going to be able to step inside with our local expert. That's one of the great things about these excursions, that we are going to be touring up with our local expert for a tour of the amazing interior, and then we'll walk across the square and under the arch that welcomes visitors and shoppers. It's just a really great place. I will say that the cathedral is such an iconic place to visit, and the interior is absolutely beautiful. It's definitely a must-see in Milan. After that, with our local experts still, we'll learn a little bit about the history of the area as we stroll through the beautiful 19th century glass-covered arcade. It's the oldest shopping mall in Europe and is still widely popular, housing, I guess you could say, flagships of leading fashion designers and trendy restaurants. And it's a huge area. It's very wide open. You can see at the left of your screen. So everything is really accessible. And I don't really want to compare it to a mall because I feel like just saying that doesn't do it a lot of justice, but it's a really beautiful place to shop. It's so large. You can see the different pathways there. It's a really, really popular location. Of course, right on the other side of that is the cathedral. After that, we'll head over to Piazza della Scala, home to the internationally celebrated Opera House, whose name comes from the square Teatro alla Scala. Directly opposite Piazza della Scala is Milan City Hall, which is a stunning Renaissance palace. It's just one of the palaces and fortresses that were there at the heart of the medieval civic power, where the Viscontis and the Sforzas reigned. So it's a really unique historic tour experience. So as you can see, we're going to see some of the most iconic and historic sites in Milan, and that's really when our tour ends. So you're going to see a lot that Milan has to offer, some of the most historic areas that we can go to. That'll be with our local expert. But later that afternoon, that evening, you'll have free time to explore the area on your own. Again, there's so many different restaurants. There's so many different shops. Maybe you want to go back and see a little bit more on by yourself. That's great. That evening is for you to tour Milan. Day 3. This is when we'll start heading east and we'll make our way to Venice as we embark later that afternoon on the beautiful SS La Venezia. That will be our ship. But before then, we're going to stop in Verona. So while in Verona, we will discover actually the real roots of Shakespeare's tragic tale while visiting the wonderful city of Verona. A little bit of history, but the Scaliger family that ruled the city of Verona for 2 centuries actually routinely murdered one another to gain power. So it's actually a pretty dark tale. But our walking tour that we're going to go on passes the house where Romeo perpetually lived, as well as this pretty 14th century stone house where legend says Juliet listened to her Romeo's vow. So certainly a very romantic destinations for visitors, one that people really do tend to enjoy. And later that day, we'll stop by the Scaliger tombs. We talked about that kind of dark history and move along via Mazzini and through Piazza della Erbe, which is a bustling city square laid out where the ancient Roman Forum once stood. After the tour, you'll have a little bit of free time to explore on your own. We definitely recommend viewing the beautiful historic churches nearby, or you can take an elevator up to the top of Torre dei Lamberti for a great view of the old city and its surroundings. So that's kind of our day there in Verona. And later on that evening, we will arrive in Venice, and that is when we'll hop on board the wonderful SS La Venezia. There's our captain there at the bottom left. And that's when we'll embark. And we'll unpack, we'll relax that evening and enjoy your first evening on the Venetian Lagoon. Of course, as customary, we will be doing a safety drill and briefing along with a welcome briefing. So after that, we'll be organized shortly before dinner, but this will be a quick and easy part of the journey. So there, day 3, a little bit of a time of Verona before we head to Venice, and that's when we'll hop on board the SS La Venezia. Before we kind of go along on day 4, I just want to talk very briefly about the ship, the SS La Venezia. And actually the River Countess, which is what we used to call in the past, underwent a complete design and renovation this year here in 2020 and is now debuting as the SS La Venezia. And we really wanted to renovate this to bring guests, I guess you could say, an enhanced luxury experience inspired by Northern Italy. And the redesign of the SS La Venezia drew influence from the fine fabrics displayed prominently on board, Burano glass, gilt accents, artistic etch elements. All that really pays homage to the popular Venetian aesthetics of the 20th century. That's really helped inspire the ship and the artwork around the ship. So really, all in all, this helps create an onboard atmosphere that is really elegant, and I guess you could say really mimics Northern Italy. Again, all of our ships, they're all very different in our fleet. We all want them to mimic the area that we're traveling to. You can see here on the outside view, the SS La Venezia. You can see all the staterooms there on the side. You can see the top deck, the sun deck, where you have a little bit of a chance to relax and take in all the sights. That choice is yours. Just going through a few more pictures. This is what a stateroom looks like. Again, all of our staterooms is different. So this room is not going to look like the room next to it or the room after that. Everyone will be different. As you can see on the left there, you can see some of the nice artwork there on the wall. That is unique to this room. Some artwork will be unique to another room. Everyone will be a little bit different and have its own character, which really makes Uniworld so special. You can see, of course, on the outside, you have the beautiful window right next to the bed. Very comfortable room, very luxurious, very comfortable, and a great place to stay. This is just one example of our dining area. We have multiple dining areas on board, but this is just a really neat picture I like. You can see the wine in the back, the beautiful table sets. It's a really, really great spot to be in. And then, of course, the top deck eating area. You can see all that farm to ship fresh food. Oh, it just looks so good. You can see a little bit of wine there. That sounds pretty good right now. It's a wonderful, wonderful spot. So hopefully these pictures can just kind of show you a little bit about what the beautiful SS La Venezia is like. So day 4, this is when we arrive in Venice. And here you get to wake up to the beautiful sights of Venice as we'll visit Doge's palace. And this palace is amazing, but also kind of complex. As it exists now, mostly dates to the 14th and 15th centuries. It has some of the most amazing, incredible artistic gems, including Tintoretto's wall-sized paradise and the works by Verona's artisans. It's a really, really great thing to see. The palace is also the residence of the Doge of Venice, the supreme authority of the former republic. It was actually built, I think it was the year 1340, and extended and modified in the following centuries. So eventually, it actually became a museum in 1923. So you get to experience this amazing place and really one of the landmarks, one of the central landmarks of northern Italy. You can just see there's so much history behind this area. Later that evening, this is one of the highlights. We have a very, very special experience for you in store. And here, we'll actually get a private after-hours visit to the St. Mark's Basilica. And what's great about this is there'll be no one else there. It's just us, just our group. It's absolutely amazing. And when you see this amazing place, you'll see the glorious church in the evening light without the crowds. And here, you get to see the amazing sights overhead. You know, it's great because the magnificent domes are sheathed in mosaics that kind of tell the story of the New Testament. And it's a really unique and authentic experience and definitely a highlight of this trip. You also get to witness the famous altarpiece made by the 10th century Byzantine artists who created and decorated with precious gems, some of which were actually they're actually stolen by Napoleon, believe it or not. But again, this is one of the highlights of the trip as you get to see the golden glass tilled mosaics, which really give this church the nickname, the Church of Gold. Absolutely beautiful. Definitely a highlight. It's an after-hours visit. It's just you and the group that is on board that evening. One of the highlights. Day 5, now we're actually halfway through our journey, believe it or not. And we're going to start taking a trip down a little bit south to the Po River. But this day is really your day to enjoy as you get to choose from, multiple excursions that we have to offer. So here, you can choose between a full day in medieval Padua, or which is home to Italy's second oldest university, or you can do a Venice walking tour. That choice is really yours. And when we arrive in Chioggia, you'll have a few options to either go through the Po Delta, you can ride a traditional Borgazzo, or biking through this authentic fishing town. That choice is yours. But again, we provide all that, including the bike. So this day, you'll have lots of choices of activities. But don't forget, if you do want a day just to relax on board the ship, taking all the amenities, not do the excursion, that is completely fine. That choice is yours. These are optional. We want you to be relaxed and as comfortable as possible. There's some beautiful views on the ship. But again, these excursions are a great way to really dive deep into Italy and all that Italy has to offer. Later that evening, we'll have a wonderful dining experience. This is a fun one, in which we call a captain's welcome dinner. And this is such a great experience, as in many cases, this may be the first time you see a majority of the people you're traveling with on a ship and together. And of course, you'll have a chance to meet the cabins. So these captain dinners are very fun. It's a great way to meet new people. It's a great way to talk a little bit about what you've seen so far in the journey. And of course, it's always nice to meet the captain as well. But this is a really, really great experience, wonderful dining experience. We'll source in all that nice farm to ship cuisine that's local to the area. And again, wonderful, wonderful experience that evening. Day 6, here we'll arrive at Bologna, and this is where we'll get to explore Italy's culinary capital, Bologna, and on a full day tour packed with some great excursion options, such as exclusive pasta making workshop, that would be one of my favorites, and lunch, and a Ferrara half-day tour. Again, the choice is yours this day, but Bologna is known as a culinary capital of the world and really is an amazing town. So we highly recommend you get out and see the amazing city for all it's worth. And of course, try some of the local delicacies like the pesto, which is one of my favorites, the tortellini, and of course, the wine. One of the fun facts about Bologna is that it's said that the locals claim to have invented the first chocolate bars, believe it or not. And even though others really dispute that claim, who knows if that's true or not, there is no denying that the chocolate shops there offer some very special treats and is a wonderful, tasty treat. Of course, right next to northern Italy is Switzerland, which is known for their chocolate. So you can definitely expect here that the chocolate will just be right on par with that area. But it's wonderful chocolate. I've tried a little bit. It's fantastic. I will say that. But as I said, you do have a choice to stay during our tour as well, in which you can either participate in exclusive pasta making workshop, which I, again, highly recommend, or you can elect to take a small detour to Ferrara and see some of the great sights there. Again, the choice is yours, and you'll have plenty of time to explore those different options. I love this image. This is just an image of the pasta making there. We do actually do it with a local expert. Really fun experience, and of course, you get to try what you make. But pasta making's fun. It's personally, I'm not a very good cook. My wife says my cooking's great, but I don't think it is. But this is a fun one that we got to do. We got to make our own pasta. And again, another authentic Italian experience. I think when you're in Italy, you got to try things like this. And this is a fun experience that we do have to offer on that day. Day 7. So today we'll head north to the Sea of Chioggia and eventually Burano, in which you'll admire the greatest sights of the charming coastal Chioggia, including a stop at the local and lively market. So here, the ship will move to dock overnight in Burano, and we'll enjoy a lovely evening stroll through the multicolored island. One thing I will say is that Chioggia is really known as, I guess, the quintessential Venetian lagoon fishing village. It was actually founded in the 5th century, and it was known as the pantry of Venice because many of its small truck farms, which supplied Venetian households, would produce until just a few decades ago. So it's still a thriving fishing port now. Its wholesome fish market is one of the largest in Italy. So this is a really neat experience as you get to see the market and try some of the local delicacies in which you get to choose. Day 8, we get to spend the day exploring the northern lagoon of Venice and 3 of its captivating islands. So now we're kind of back really where the cruise started a little bit. We're still up north there in the Venetian lagoon, but today we'll get to explore a basilica with an art historian in Torcello before heading to the peaceful agricultural island of Mazzorbo, in which we'll end the tour with a stroll through Burano's rainbow-colored homes. You can see on the last slide, I'll go back here, those colored homes, you can see the little colors there. Very, very pretty, very unique to Italy. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But Polesella is a very interesting area as it was settled before Venice was founded. And at one time, it was the greatest, most populous city in the lagoon. So now, however, only a handful of people live there. And its main attraction, which you get the opportunity to see, is a Santa Maria Assunta, which is the oldest church in the lagoon. When we are in Mazzorbo, we have the opportunity to visit the ambitious wine estate devoted to making wine with Venetian grapes to produce a luscious golden wine. This is a fun activity that we're going to do. This will be a fun experience. And then, as I mentioned, we'll have the opportunity to stroll through Burano and see those colorful homes, which, as you can see in that picture that I went before, they range from anywhere from hot pink to orange to lemon and yellow, which is extremely pretty. And these are actually all fishermen cottages, believe it or not. So a really cool experience there. So you can see here, we have a very full day again, but this day has such great experiences in which you get to really enjoy some of the gems of Northern Italy. I think I accidentally skipped a slide there, sorry about that. But day 9, sadly, this will be our last day exploring the amazing area of Northern Italy. This day is really dedicated for you to see everything you still want to see, as we have plenty of time to explore Venice once again. However, we will be offering a couple of excursions in which we highly recommend you seeing. The first one is one of our Do As Locals Do excursions, which will be a Venice walking tour. And here you'll have the opportunity to journey through the heart of the city. And here you get to explore the colorful and I guess you could say noisy arcades with your guide who knows Venice culinary arts intimately. And as you know, as you go through the fish markets, you'll see some of the great culinary offerings that Venice has to offer. It's a really great experience. Again, this is one of our last days in Venice, so we want to give you one of those kind of in-depth experiences so you can see all the wonderful markets. A lot of times on this tour, the chef on board will accompany us, and he'll actually take some of the ingredients that are local and bring them back on board, so you have some wonderful culinary options that night. At the end of the tour, and after some free time, we actually should have plenty of time to enjoy a gondola ride if you'd like, something that Venice is very known for. We'll be doing our guide at, it's called Baccaro, which is a casual wine bar for a Venetian version of happy hour. So this is a fun time. Often you'll have a glass of Prosecco, but with and also with a bite of something delicious that you like. Oftentimes it's some kind of fish, or something like that, a Venetian fish specialty. But this is a fun little happy hour event. You get to relax. Again, it's one of the last days. You get to take it all in, see some of the beautiful sights, and just kind of watch Venice go by that late afternoon. That night, sadly, this is the last experience. It's our captain's farewell dinner. And this is a little bit bittersweet. This is a little bit sad, but it's a great way to end an amazing trip. Again, day 9, we've had so many great experiences. You've had a great time in Venice, wherever you want to go, Milan, and a great time on board. And this is our last time to have a nice meal with your fellow guests on board the ship and talk about all the amazing experiences you had the last 9 days. So again, bittersweet. On one hand, you're happy, you're excited to go back. It's great to travel. It's great to come back. But again, it's a little bit sad because you've had such a wonderful time in a beautiful area. But at Captain's Farewell Dinner, it's a great way to end an amazing, amazing journey. You can see here, that's just a picture of one of the options that we have. Again, very nice area in the restaurant on board. We want to make sure things are very nice and very clean. This is kind of our big one here. This is our big dinner that we'll have at the end. And then day 10, it's the end of our journey, unfortunately. So that day, we will be taking you on your private transfer back to the airport, and it's arrivederci, Italy, and it's goodbye, and we'll be headed back to the United States. So that's a little bit of our journey. Hopefully, again, I could talk for hours on every single thing you can do here, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea of kind of what a day-to-day itinerary in Italy looks like through world. And northern Italy is such a beautiful spot. It has so many different places that you can see, so many great offerings, including the excursions. It's a wonderful, wonderful area. So hopefully that helped inspire some potential travel dreams there. Again, lastly, how do you experience Italy differently with Uniworld? If you've been to Italy, you know all about this. And if you haven't, that's great. But really with this, for us, it's the most all-inclusive river cruising experience. One of the nice things here is you get once you're on board the ship, once you're on board the SS La Venezia, you unpack and you pack once. That's it. Now you can really sit back, relax, do what you want, take in all the amazing places, take in all the amazing excursions, as many as you want, and just enjoy a beautiful week in Italy. So that's wonderful. And again, we talked about some of those experiences that we have on the trip. Those experiences are wonderful. We highly recommend them. They give you such an authentic, immersive experience that really makes you dive in to the local area. That's our goal at Uniworld. Delicious farm-to-table cuisine. Again, food is a great way to immerse yourself in your destination. We'll always have wonderful, wonderful dining experiences, whether that's pasta making, whether that's that farewell dinner, that welcome dinner, the captain's dinner. We want to have all those options available, all those nice farm to ship ingredients available at all times. And then again, another one about this too is a variety of travel methods. We have the cruise for 7 nights, but then we also have the tour option in Milan for 2 nights as well. So you kind of get the best of both worlds there. So again, I love Italy. It's one of my favorite places I've ever been to. It's fantastic. I can't say enough about it. Lisa's going to kick me off if I don't shut up about Italy, so I will stop talking a little bit about this. I could go on for hours, but again, it's a wonderful journey. And I cannot wait to go back there personally. It is one of my favorite destinations. So thank you all again so much for joining me for an evening in Italy tonight. Again, hopefully this helped inspire you to plan your next journey. And I know we all can't wait to travel again soon, and it will be soon. But thank you all again. And I will say lastly too, here at Uniworld, we are a very proud partner with Travelex, and they are an outstanding partner of ours, and their travel advisors are top of the line in the industry. There's no doubt about it. So at Uniworld, we are a company that works exclusively with travel advisors, and we truly believe in the advantage of the travel advisor, as the advisors are so knowledgeable and helpful with our product. Lisa's fantastic. She knows everything about everywhere, it seems like, but everyone there is awesome. They're going to be able to help you out. And we highly recommend, no matter where you travel, and especially when you're looking at doing a Uniworld cruise or just going to Italy, to book through your travel advisor at Travelex, as they will create that perfect experience for you for your next dream holidays. So thank you all so much again. I think, Lisa, you might touch on this a little bit, but we will be having another presentation here in the next month around the holidays. Can't wait for that. We're actually going to dive in a little bit to the Christmas market. So there'll be more information to come on that. But for now, again, thank you all so much. And Lisa, I think I'll hand it back to you. And if we have any questions, we can kind of open it up for that.
Okay, yeah, and while I'm talking, you can be typing your question in either the Q&A box or the chat box. And as Dan was touching on, we are going to do, since Christmas markets have pretty much been canceled for this year everywhere, I thought, during the holiday season, it might be fun to actually visit the Christmas markets over in Europe. And then I thought we would spread a little bit of Christmas cheer afterwards and do like a mini Christmas party. So hopefully you'll join us for that. One of the things, and you can stay in touch with us, is if you go on our Facebook page and like our page, you'll always get our most up-to-date webinars that we're doing, and some of the other special things that we may be going through in terms of webinars or specials, or just, I know we're sending out an email, I think tomorrow, to our clients about just our health and talking about how we can stay mentally healthy, because right now I think people are going crazy. So if just like our page, and we'll keep you informed as far as that goes. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is, doing Uniworld and doing this Northern Italy, if you have the time, we can add on to it and do more of Italy. Italy is probably, like I said, one of my favorite places. I think it offers something for everyone. So that's something as an option that we could also do and customize a trip for you as well. And Dan, I haven't been everywhere. I just have great partners that make me look good. So one of the questions that one of the clients asked is, what is the capacity of the ship?
That's a good question. Yeah. So the capacity of the every ship that we have is different. I'm hoping I won't get anyone ever super dizzy here, but I'll go back to that main slide here. The number of guests you can see on the bottom there is 126. That's the capacity on this ship, but anywhere on our Uniworld ships, no matter what river it is, whether it's the Rhine, the Danube, et cetera, throughout Europe, anywhere between 120, 160, really depending on how big that ship is. But for this one, this will be 126 guests that will be on board. Good question.
Okay. Any other questions? I don't see any in either the Q&A box or the chat box. We'll give people just a couple minutes in case they're still typing. But if for some reason we don't answer your question, or we hop off of this and you say, oh, I wish I would have asked that, please by all means contact us, and one of our advisors will get back to you with the answer if we don't already know it. So I don't see any other questions, Dan, so oh, hang on a second. I should probably wait just a minute. Okay, is there a single supplement on Uniworld?
There is a single supplement. Well, I should say yes, there is. But one of the promotions that we have here going for next year, for 2021, is on most of our departures, most of our itineraries, we've actually completely waived the single supplement, which is a really good deal. I don't think we've ever done that before. So it is on select departures. I believe it does apply on many of the departures for this one, for Northern Italy. But again, if you have questions, talk to your travel advisor. They'll be able to help you out. You can also see that information on our website. But I will say, singles, a big part about our business. We have a lot of people that travel solo on our river cruises. So we definitely welcome that.
Okay, perfect. All right, I don't see any other questions in the box, so we'll go ahead and let everybody go. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. I always think it's fun to dream, especially in the light of the way that things are going. But one day we will be able to travel, and we're just trying to keep destinations in mind that maybe is on your wish list. I know I have a lot that I want to fulfill, and one day we're going to get there. So everybody just hang in there. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you very soon.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Dan. Oh, hang on. Hold on.
Oh.
There is somebody who has a question.
Sure.
Let's see. Let me go back.
Don't worry. I don't have anywhere to be besides watching the election, so I got all night.
Okay. How often are the departures?
Oh, that's a good question. So it depends. It varies. Obviously, we have a limited amount of ships in our fleet, so we can't go every single week or anything like that. But you usually do maybe about 2 or 3 cruises a month, depending on how long it's kind of a gray area, but depending on how long the itinerary is, they can be anywhere from 7 to 20 days. But typically, we try about do 2 or 3 a month if we can in that area. And we do have multiple ships too. For example, in Egypt, we have two river cruises that go through up and down the Nile, River Tusca and the SS Sphinx. So we are able, because we do have quite a few ships, we are able to have more and more departures. But that's a good question. Typically, a couple times a month is what we shoot for.
Yeah, and then another question, or actually this is in addition to how often the departures. They took the train from Milan to, and it doesn't say where, so maybe they can type that in and I'll finish that. And what is the season for the Po River cruises? Like, what is the season that you guys travel there?
Yeah, usually April to June. Honestly, April to October is really the highlights. Most of our departures, typically for Po, will be around that April. I would say April through June, end of June timeframe. But we operate all the way through October there.
Perfect. Yeah, I find the September October timeframe is a little bit nicer. The weather isn't quite as hot as it is in the summertime, especially in the southern part of Italy. So it's nice, and the kids and teachers are all back in school normally.
That's the thing. I will say, if you can do it in September, October, that's a great time to go. Less crowds, less people, and you're right, Lisa, it's fantastic weather there. So definitely agree with that.
Okay, and then going back to one of the clients took a train from Milan to Venice.
Venice,
but there was so much of Venice that they missed, which I can totally understand that it's hard to see everything when you're there. So I encourage you, if you need to go back to Venice, I don't think it's a bad place to go back and visit because of all that there is to do.
Definitely. That's why we have a lot of night stays, you saw in the itinerary. There's so much to do. There's so much history there. It's a beautiful city. I was there for about 2 nights, so I got to see about 1/10 of what Venice has to offer. So again, it's a wonderful city. It's definitely one of those places, Lisa. I think you can go once and go back again, definitely, and still see a lot of new things. So
exactly, and I really like the experience that you guys offer in doing the St. Mark's Basilica, and that being private, because if you've ever been there, there's usually tons of people. Usually you have to do the skip the line, and so it's kind of nice that you kind of have the Basilica all to yourself.
Definitely.
So, yeah, I don't see any other questions. So, like I said, if you do have questions, by all means, please feel free to reach out to one of us at the office. We'll be more than happy to answer any other questions that you have. And this is also being recorded. So if you have friends that maybe couldn't make it, this will be on our website. So please feel free to watch it at any time, or if there's something that you missed and you want to go back and watch it, give us a couple days, we'll have it on the website. So once again, Dan, thank you so much. And everyone, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.